I'm happy to introduce tonight's speaker, Kate Carney. Kate is the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities manager, and she will be discussing this nationwide initiative, which at its heart aims to reduce abortions by making them unavailable and unthinkable. So without further ado, a warm welcome for Kate.
Thank you. My name is Kate Carney. I'm really excited to be here with you all today. I represent the Students for Life of America's Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities. I've been with Students for Life for 7 years. Long time worker bee over there. I love it. And I'm really excited to kind of talk about what this newer initiative is. We launched in 2021. And how we're seeking to make abortion unavailable and unthinkable throughout our communities so that we can have an abortion-free future. So there are 3 things. What I like to do before I kind of explain what the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities is, I like to look at what's the battle before us and why the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities is something that you should participate in, is something that you should know about, and why it's kind of the answer to how, 1, we can work together, but 2, how we can, like I said, have an abortion-free future. So the first is culture. Even with the reversal of Roe, which we're so thankful for, it was a major pro-life victory. It needed to happen. Abortion isn't gone. It's not done, and so we still have lots of work to do. And one of the ways that we see that is, again, this total lack of acknowledgement of the humanity of the preborn human being, the preborn person. Or how in one instance it's a baby and in one instance it's not. And so we really have to work hard in our culture to help our neighbors, our community understand the humanity of the preborn child and how recognizing that life progresses us forward as a society, not backwards. And then as well, once Roe was overturned, we ran right into an election season. And we had a ton of ballot referendums. We had some in really surprising states like Missouri, Ohio, Florida. I mean, Ohio was set to be, no abortion, and then their ballot referendum got ran through, and now abortion's available through all 9 months. So we know that, culture has not yet accepted the humanity of the preborn human being, and especially here in New York. Even though New York has had a history of being very pro-abortion, we also passed a ballot referendum that enshrined, pretty much codified Roe into our state constitution. The second is pregnancy help disparity, so something I'm going to talk more about. But when we first launched this campaign in 2021, one of the cool things that we do is that we go door knocking in our local communities, not campaigning like we do for political campaigns, but we do advocacy knocking. And so we talk neighbor to neighbor to help them understand where their local pregnancy help center is. And what we discovered through our first year, the research that we pulled from that, is that 73% of our neighbors had no idea what a pregnancy help center even was. So we discovered a huge disparity. We know that the abortion industry is going to try to fill that disparity with fear, and the pro-life movement is all about helping our neighbors, thrive with hope and opportunity. So that's another thing that we noticed in a trend of the battle before us. And then lastly is chemical abortion. Chemical abortion is the new way in which the abortion industry is trying to stay relevant, especially when we have pro-life laws. There's no test chemical abortion that you can have where you can just order chemical abortion pills through the mail, and then women are left to labor and abort their children in the toilet, which they're then told to just flush down the toilet. So if homes are going to become abortion facilities, then we need to be there. The pro-life movement needs to be there with an answer. And so we really feel like we've found a kind of a shiny treasure with the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities to be that answer, and I'm going to explain more about that. So we can go to the next slide. Perfect. So our mission with the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities is ultimately we want to make our communities have abortion be unavailable and unthinkable. And in order to do that, we work with community leaders on the ground, and we also work with our Students for Life alumni. So this is their next step as they graduate college, high school, what have you. But this is also for the everyday local pro-life leader. So Alfonso is a great example of this. He's actually our Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities leader here in the Capital Region. And so the local passionate human being who cares about abortion, who wants to do work in their community, they can become a campaign leader. And I work with our leaders all the time to help strategize out their community with something called our 4 critical battle plan, which I'll explain shortly. But really what we believe, our vision, is that if we can create abortion-free cities, that can lead to abortion-free states and ultimately an abortion-free nation. And so that's my little stump speech. That's what we want to do. If someone were to ask me in an elevator, what is this? We want to have an abortion-free nation. And so that's community by community, that's door by door, that's neighbor by neighbor, just us really fostering and nurturing the garden of our own hometowns. Because for so long we were looking at the Supreme Court, we were looking at when's Roe going to be overturned, and it has. And so now we need to look within and we need to take care of our own communities. Perfect, we can go to the next slide. So who does the campaign serve? I've already kind of covered that. It serves our alumni leaders as a bridge to their next step, but also the local passionate everyday leader on the ground here in our own communities. And then where can you have a campaign? You can have a campaign anywhere, from the most pro-life to most pro-abortion state. There's still work to do. And we kind of covered that in, the battle before us as pro-life advocates, what we need to do. So you can have a campaign literally anywhere. We can go to the next slide. Yay, okay. So this is kind of where we get to see the mission in action, which is way more fun than me talking about it. So we actually have a video that we can play, and you can see what our goal is with the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities.
Hey Pro-Life Gen, we are out here today door knocking to share about the pregnancy resources in this community in Maryland, because we think women should be able to be supported in pregnancy and not told they need abortion.
While we're out here door knocking, we will be carrying around with us free pregnancy and parenting resources such as diapers and wipes to pass out to any families that we meet who are in need.
Many people do not know of their local pregnancy help centers, so it is really important that we're out here educating the community and offering life-affirming resources. Unfortunately, when people look up online pregnancy help, it most often leads them to Planned Parenthood or abortion clinics. So we are showing them the life-affirming resources and hopefully changing hearts and minds today.
We are currently door knocking, and sometimes people don't answer the door, but that is okay because we have these door hangers with lots of information about pregnancy resources and the danger of the nearby abortion clinic that has hurt so many women. So we are so excited when they don't even answer the door, they still get so much amazing pro-life information.
Yeah, that's our little video. So we'll talk a little bit about that video and kind of the marketing behind it, because it kind of ties into our strategy. But first and foremost, this is our mountain graphic. So this is our campaign plan, how we work, how we do things. And so the very first thing you'll notice, the very first thing I teach our leaders as they're starting a campaign is that they have to build coalition. So this is very much grassroots work. It's all about being the squeaky wheel. And so you want to find other people who are going to squeak with you, because then you'll get noticed. And so building a coalition is really important. So you want to partner with other organizations. We love to work with Sidewalk Advocates for Life, 40 Days for Life. We actually have a Right to Life representative here today. We love partnering with other orgs to work together to get the good work done. So building a coalition is huge. It's super important. The first foundational part of leading a campaign is our first critical battle, which is supportive services. We want to raise awareness and support of local pregnancy help centers. So in order to make abortion unavailable and unthinkable, we have to show our community how unnecessary it is by uplifting the important pregnancy help centers, resource centers, other federal and state programs that will not refer for abortion that's available to our community members, so that they know there's more than one option. There's more than a Planned Parenthood. There's more than an abortion facility. And so by doing this, we can help cultivate that awareness and really help start to try to shift culture in that direction by not immediately thinking, oh, Planned Parenthood. No, you could be thinking, oh, the local pregnancy help center. I know there's Alpha Care, there's Birthright, there's other places locally here that will help me. And so one of the ways that we do that is in our door knocking. So you'll notice in the video we're wearing our pink and teal t-shirts. Those are our Standing With You community advocate t-shirts. So our initiative partners with another initiative we have called Standing With You, which is our supportive service initiative. We have a resource directory through Standing With You that has over 4,000 vetted resources on it. It is geolocation technology. So basically, you will scan a QR code that's actually on the door hanger, and then you type in your zip code, and the services within a 25-mile radius will populate so that you can see where do I need to go. And so the idea behind that is, one, we are, we're hurting the abortion industry because we're taking away their customer base because we're giving them a better product to use. So Standing With You is a winsome brand. We actually market research that brand to be a winsome brand. And when you're at the door advocating, we say that we're Standing With You representatives because we want to build rapport with our neighbors. We want to build trust. Just like when you go to a restaurant and you're a server, like you want to build rapport with your table. And so that's what we want to do in the community. So the very first part of our door knocking dialogue is introducing ourselves, saying that you're Standing With You. And then it's, hey, are you aware of your local pregnancy help center? Do you know what that is? Because 73% of our neighbors have no idea what it is. And so it's really important that we get that first question in and that we're able to talk to our neighbors, communicate with them, and let them know. So we're activating people to know where these centers are. The second is industry impact. So we want to break community trust of the abortion industry and ultimately close facilities. A lot of facilities are closing right now, which we're very excited about. But we want to break that brand. Planned Parenthood, these abortion facilities, they've worked really hard to cultivate a brand that people trust. They've glamorized themselves. They've gotten into mainstream culture, so people just think, oh yeah, this is good, this is normal. So what we do, which is also on the door hangers that Alfonso brought, is that we have a neighborhood alert that talks about either what a certain facility has done or just in general what Planned Parenthoods across America have done. And a question that we like to ask at the door is like, hey, are you aware of the fact that, firstly, is Planned Parenthood an organization that you trust? And then, hey, are you aware that, Planned Parenthood has failed to report at least 12 cases of child sexual abuse? And when people learn the reality behind this business, they don't like it. They find it really icky. They don't trust it. And so by having this just normal, everyday conversation with your neighbor at the door, you can really do some great work. And in fact, in Colorado Springs, we have a campaign, and that's really what we're focusing on doing is talking about, Planned Parenthood. And a lot of people change their minds at the door when they learn that. So making sure that we're breaking trust with this industry, because it is an industry, it is a business. And then we also work with Sidewalk Advocates for Life. We want to make sure that there's quality sidewalk counselors who are outside of these facilities able to really minister to the men and women who are coming in and out. And that's ultimately because we want to shut these facilities down and make our communities abortion free. And then third is effective education. We want to change the hearts and minds of our neighbors. We want to shift them towards a pro-life position. And so usually if we have time, we have a third question that we ask, which is, hey, did you know that in New York State abortion is legal through all 9 months? We're just taking like a general neighborhood poll. Is that something that you would agree with? I had a conversation with a woman in Rochester, New York. I asked that same question to her, and she said, oh yeah, I support a woman's right to choose. And I was like, okay, I just want to clarify. I just want to make sure you support a woman's right to abortion through all 9 months. And she was like, well, not through all 9 months. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, what about when they can feel pain? And she was like, well, when can they feel pain? And I was like, there are studies that show as early as the end of the first trimester, but second trimester. And she's like, well, it's still too late. And I was like, I agree with you. I was like, what about when they have a heartbeat? And she was like, well, when do they have a heartbeat? And I was like, 28 days. And she was more comfortable with that because usually the less developed something is, people are like, oh, it won't hurt, or it won't, like these terms that we use to anthropomorphize the human experience, they apply it to the preborn human, and they're like, okay, obviously we want protection at conception. But the point is that she went from a very extreme position. She went from just regurgitating, headlines to really thinking about, well, what is my position? How do I feel? And, she went from really extreme to still extreme, but you know what I'm saying? We shifted, and that's the most important thing. We're planting seeds, we're making people think differently, and it was just a simple conversation at the door. It wasn't contested, it wasn't hot, it was just a cool conversation. We walked through our whole script that we have at the door, and we were able to educate her, inform her, and ultimately change her mind. So that was a really cool experience, and that's the power of the campaign that we get to do. And then ultimately, public policy, that's the shiny win at the top. Everybody wants a public policy win. Everybody wants to enshrine life in law. But in order to get there, we really have to work on the foundation of our culture. And that's ultimately what we do, is we do culture work. Neighbor to neighbor, we lead with support and rapport first. Then we bring in education, building trust. We're your next door neighbor. We're your community. We care about you, and we want you to know what's what is better for you. And even in states where they have the public policy win, like Texas, Mississippi, other pro-life states, the culture there still needs help, and then there's still chemical abortion that comes in. And so women are still affected and influenced by this industry, which is why we have to be consistent in our work and why we have to go to those uncomfortable places and knock on someone's door on like a Saturday to really start to kind of lead the way in this work. So we can go to the next slide. So a cool little thing that I love to share is that our first year that we launched, we asked that question of like, do you know where your pregnancy help center is? Do you know what that even is? And our second year, we're like, what if we pre and post surveyed a handful of neighbors and, see if we can cultivate awareness of local pregnancy help centers by 10%. So in a handful of our cities, in St. Paul, we were close at 9%. Phoenix, Arizona, we overshot it by 17%. In Cincinnati, Ohio, we really drove it home at 25%. So we would pre-survey 100 neighbors or more in the fall, and then in the winter we would send them postcards and mailings depending on how they answered our survey questions, and then we resurveyed them in the spring. And so we were able to, through our work and through our market saturation, we were able to record that we were able to cultivate awareness. So that's big. So maybe it's not, maybe it's making community more pro-life, but it is hurting the abortion industry by having more people aware and recognize that there are help centers that help them. Free ultrasounds, free pregnancy tests, free STD, STI testing, things that are valuable, things that people need in the moment, especially in crisis when you're just like, I need help, I need help, I need help. What's easy, what's convenient, what's trusted, what's there, and it can be a pregnancy help center and not the abortion industry. So we can go to the next slide. Here's our materials. So you'll notice everything this is our Standing With You brand. It's very women-centered, very friendly. It's free women's services in Clifton Park, in Atlanta, in whichever city that you're in. We have a comparison chart that compares general pregnancy resource center resources to what is happening at a Planned Parenthood or a Target facility, our neighborhood alert, and then everything is cited on our door hangers by a website called alert.tips. So if we're making claims, we can follow them up with court cases, facts, statistics, in a very generic platform. And then we usually have our Standing With You, unexpected pregnancy, because we've run into women at the door. In Portland, Oregon, actually, we ran into a young woman who was pregnant, had no idea what she was gonna do, and our team was able to serve her and help her. So in a lot of states that have chemical abortion as the thing to do, we have, we talk about abortion pill reversal. And then we have our Standing With You community advocate t-shirts so that we look uniformed and not like a random stranger coming to your door. It's like, oh, it's a person. So we can go to the next slide. The journey so far. So when we started, there was nothing. And then, boom, there's lots more things. In fact, this needs an update because we have more campaigns because we are growing. So it's very exciting that this is something that people want to do. This empowers our neighbors, this empowers our leaders to be like, abortion breaks my heart. What can I do? Well, we can plug you in with the strategy and with resources and with the tools to get you there. So we're continuing to grow. We obviously want to be in all 50 states, what would be huge. So very encouraged by this graphic. So we can go to the next slide. So our all-time metrics, we have 260,000 doors knocked since we've launched in 2021, which is huge. We're growing in our church partners, currently at 114. We also do online conversion quizzes in our AFC cities, and we've just racked up with 122,000 minds changed, and that's always going up every day, so that's really cool. But we can go to the next slide. So something that is okay, well, what can I do now if you want to get involved? The hot ticket is during the summer, we do something called a summer of service. And it's where we practice servant evangelism style advocacy. And we partner with local pregnancy help centers, or we do an item drive, and we actually collect diapers and wipes. And we go into underserved communities, and we literally have a wagon, which is why you see so many wagons in all these pictures. And we go door to door and we ask people, hey, do you need anything? Do you need diapers, wipes, toothbrushes, what do you need? And it's always been a really successful event, and we're able to serve a lot of women We're currently right now at like 70 women served, and we've given away like 3,000 diapers at the door. So it's been a really effective campaign, and it runs from July 1st to September 7th, the weekend after Labor Day. And our campaign leaders across the country does this, our own team does this, and Alfonso's actually doing this August 24th at 1 o'clock. So if you want to join, we're gonna go to Municipal Housing in Schenectady, and we're gonna go walk with our wagons. So if that's something that you wanna do and wanna be a part of, you're more than welcome to join us. Just talk to Alfonso, he's the point man. We can go to the next slide. So this is our like how to get involved page, but what we can do here is just like what are 3 things that you can do, or what are 3 things, you know, that I can leave you with is firstly, like please pray for our team, like pray for our organization, pray for Alfonso. We want this to set the world on fire, right? We think this is the next step. We want to empower our leaders. We want our communities to be abortion free. So just pray for our team at Students for Life as we continue to grow this program. Pray for me. And the second thing, if you feel compelled, please donate. Like, we're a nonprofit, and every gift, every financial gift is, it does wonders, really does. It gets us door hangers, materials, like incentives for our volunteers. We get to take care of people when you take care of us. So if you're feeling compelled to donate, please do. We really appreciate that. And then thirdly is participate. Come join us for a summer of service. Come join us for a door-to-door outreach or a door-to-door outreach training. Get on the sidewalk, pray with 40 Days for Life, be in the community with us, be present. That's powerful. Your presence is powerful. So that in a nutshell is the campaign for abortion-free cities, on all the work that we're currently doing and how we are hoping to grow and influence the capital region area here too. And I just want to spotlight real quick Chris, because he's our partner, and we're partnering organizations, and it's just fun to see collaboration and teamwork in the pro-life movement, especially at a local level. So Chris, if you wanted to come up and say anything, you can.
Yeah, so I represent Schenectady Right to Life. I'm the president of Schenectady Right to Life, which is obviously a local organization here. We do a lot of community outreach, including billboards, and we're hoping to do more tabling and stuff like that. And then, as you were talking about, a lot of the that kind of the bottom of that mountain there is building partnerships and relationships with the local community, and so that's a really big goal of ours, as well as getting more younger people in the area involved, because we know that's a struggle here, especially in New York. So that's a brief overview of Schenectady Right to Life. So we are an affiliate, a local affiliate of New York State Right to Life. Yep. Yes, indeed. So, we're representing them locally here, and I know we're Schenectady Right to Life, but we see ourselves as representing the entire capital region as well.
Yes.
So if you're in Clifton Park or Saratoga or Rensselaer or anywhere in the capital region, definitely consider us to be a local fighter as well. So,
love it.
yes.
Yay. Thanks, Chris. But yeah, that's our campaign. That's how we're growing in the capital region, and we're wanting to do more. So thank you for listening and taking your time to come here and learn more about the campaign for abortion-free cities. I can't answer questions if you have any. Otherwise, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Group. Our Deacon Eddie is in charge of the kids from 6th grade to 12th grade, and how important it is to educate these kids before they even hit high school. By the time, especially in this day and age, I was very involved at a much slower time, but we always targeted the children, and we went from one church to another, and we would encourage not only the child to be there, but their parent to be there.
Yeah.
And it was a very good program that we had. I was part of New York State Right to Life for years.
Represent.
Actually, before it even began. So
I love that.
And that was so important. We also would be in front of schools as they got out, middle schools and high school, with just like, not necessarily a flyer like this. We had a flyer that had an unborn baby in utero at about 6 weeks, and heartbeat at 28 days.
Right. Brain,
Yeah,
I know.
yes,
Yeah.
I mean, so that flyer was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And we would hand these out to kids as they were coming off the school property.
Yeah.
We weren't on school property, we were on the edge. And they were like, oh, really? And we would say,
Yeah.
you want to see what you looked like when you were, that was our come on. You want to see
Yeah.
what you looked like when you were 2 months old or
Yeah.
8 weeks or whatever. Yeah. And then they're reading all through, oh. And I said, unfortunately, so many children are being killed at this age. And they're like, what? Because they had they just did not conceive what the baby looked like,
Right.
along with the rhetoric from Planned Parenthood
Yeah.
that was allowed in the school,
Right.
where we were not allowed in the
That's
school.
crazy, like in a public school.
It was public schools.
Yeah.
Because the Catholic schools, we would call them, they'd invite us in,
Yeah.
and we'd give the program to the
Right.
Catholic schools.
Yeah.
The public schools, we were out there with the little flyers with the come on. You want to see what you look like? Everyone wants to see what they look like.
They do.
Yes, and it was a good come on. So,
That's great. Thank you for your service. And we do have, with our regional coordinator, she's able to come on to campuses and things like that, do apologetics trainings, things like that, because it is so important to educate our youth on like what abortion is and what's the reality behind abortion and fetal development and things like that. I mean, there's such a lack of information, and then there's a ton of misinformation also out there. And so, yeah, so they're hearing a lot of different things, and it's so important to have the attention of young people and help them be passionate about this issue, because it is, it's going to be your issue. So, yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's great. Yeah.
are you local?
Yes, I'm actually from Ballston Spa. I've worked for SFLA for 7 years. I worked the national ed organization, but I've been here locally for, more than 7 years, but I've worked for SFLA for 7 years. Yeah. Any other, Chris, you have a
If I
question?
may, to the point that you made there, I worked on the side at Union College for a little while, and one of the things that I saw while I was there was Union College, or Planned Pregnancy, Planned Parenthood, I'm stumbling over my words, is on campus regularly. They host movie nights. They host
Oh, wow.
something called the Sexapalooza, which was a sex ed and giveaway type event thing, and they're sponsoring and hosting these awful events.
That has been done in so many colleges since the 1970s, and it was always a week in February. And
Yeah.
it was just obscene what they were doing, and what they were showing and thinking, making it feel normal to them. And that's why even by the time they get to college, it's a little too late. I mean, still go to the colleges, but you really got to begin at middle school to high school, letting them know, and especially, everyone thinks they can use all the different contraceptives, and they're absolutely so effective. And so we would have this little blurb how it was not effective, and we go through each contraceptive, and it really isn't working, and the eyes would get the size of saucers when we talk to them. But it's important because that they're not getting them with this generation with TikTok and whatever all those things are. It's really climbing the mountain. I mean, we were climbing the mountain then, and sliding down, but now I don't even think you can get a grip on it. And you really got to begin early. Not to say what you're doing is not good, but I mean, I got into the pro-life movement in 1968. I'm only 18 now. But it's been my life career. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not even going there.
Yes, that's one of the things that we want to do, is not only get onto the colleges
Yeah.
where we haven't been. I was just bringing that up to say that these are places that we aren't right now,
Yeah.
I think. And so
You want to have
as-
that influence.
As a larger movement, I think that that's one of at least our goals in the local area, and that's one of the benefits of partnering with Students for Life and the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities, is that we can get to those places, get to the students as early as Planned Parenthood is getting to them, and hopefully change their hearts
Yeah.
and minds for the better. Yes.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, Chris. I second what he says. And we do have church kits that are available, and they come with like an unplanned screening, and that's always available for church leaders to have, or like if you're a Respect Life group and you want to bring something to your parish, we always do things like that. We do have a pink cross display as well. Actually, Alfonso knows all about the pink cross display, where it's classic, where it's 1,076, although the number has increased, I think, to like 1,100 now, of lives lost by Planned Parenthood every single day. So that's also an effective, something that you can lay on the lawn, and build awareness around, this is what Planned Parenthood has done, or this is what's happening right now. And all of our regional coordinators, our staff, know how to train on like Planned Parenthood's abortion business, what that means. So like education is a really big part of what we do. And so we have items and tools and kits to kind of integrate into even a church environment if ever anyone wants to do something like that, to bring that awareness even to our own parishioners here.
Have you approached Have you approached Bishop Scharfenberger? Scharfenberger, excuse me. You didn't hear that.
So I have a long time ago I met with Bishop Ed, and he's great. And I do know, oh my gosh, I think it's Mary Faye, who runs the Respect Life office. That's her name, Mary Faye, yes. And her and I know her, and believe the campaign is on the diocesan website for like Respect Life things that you can do. But we have reached out to the diocese before, and it's just like an ongoing relationship. What we're really looking to do right now is just grow a kind of a community base of local leaders. And so like working with different volunteers from different churches, 40 Days for Life. We did a really awesome event outside of the Schenectady Planned Parenthood, which is actually where we met Chris, where we did our pink cross display in front of the Schenectady Planned Parenthood, calling for Planned Parenthood to be defunded. And that was a great show of like community togetherness. And so we really want to focus more on getting our volunteers and building cohesion and having events and like serving the community.
I would suggest through the diocese or however, confirmation students, that you have here it's 2 years for confirmation.
Okay.
So during those 2 years, you ask if you can have an evening where you can come and discuss this with them, and not just abortion, but sexually transmitted diseases and all contraceptive and everything. It's very, very important because they get this daily, weekly, in the public schools from Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Catholic schools are getting thinner and thinner as far as how many are left, but still I would contact each one of them and go in and try to get them going. And also the Catholic colleges, some of them are still called Catholic colleges, but I don't think they are supporting Catholic education.
Right. No, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll definitely take that advice for sure. Thank you. Thanks.